Alright guys, hope all is well. Today was the first state of the game for 2020, and since the devs revealed the RNG overhaul coming with year 2. Now I did anticipate that today's stream would focus solely on episode 3, which it mainly did, and that you should all set your expectations low for anything substantial. I did a video recently talking about how the developers need to respect our time, respect the patience that we've got, and that they need to provide something substantial here, but let's just say I pretty much got it right, and that my expectations were met, in that my expectations were fairly low anyway. With that said, I want to give you guys a recap of everything, so as always I will be going down the list of bullet points I made and keeping my overall opinion for a separate video likely to be coming this Friday. So let's begin. Alright, so we almost had the full pack today, but it was missing Frederick. We had Hamish, Yannick and Drew, and as I said in my recent video, I knew that Frederick Thailander wouldn't be coming today, so I knew we weren't going to get a whole lot of stuff, certainly for year 2 anyway. So to start off with, we got the priority alerts. They confirmed that there was a maintenance yesterday, and with that maintenance came some good changes. So firstly, they've introduced what's called a legacy cache, where you can buy keys. This is a premium currency when you spend your own money, and open caches with no duplicates. And this will have a loot pool of 100, a lot like the standard caches and whatever. But these can only be purchased with real world money. What they have done aside from that though is made a change to the standard cache in the future. And they wanted to address the duplicate issue. I know you guys, myself included, I hate getting duplicates, getting a bit of XP. It really doesn't feel that rewarding. What they're going to do is they're going to give you a new thing called textiles instead. So if you get a duplicate, you won't get XP. Instead, you're going to get something called textiles. And you can purchase items from the store with these textiles now. Now, most things in the store are going to cost either a premium currency or textiles. Now, you won't be able to buy everything with textiles, but they confirm that most things will be purchasable through textiles. What they didn't confirm is how many textiles you've got for each duplicated item, and then how that converted into real world currency in respect to the store. So we don't actually know how many textiles you need to purchase them, but that's something we're going to find out about. It's not live yet. I've seen people already talking about this earlier on today, saying it hasn't worked for them. Well, it's not live yet, is my understanding. They said this is something that's going to come in the future. Okay, so moving on, the raid leaderboard issue. People have found ways to beat the raid faster than the devs feel is plausible. So they're still discussing how they're going to approach this and how they're going to address the issue. What they don't want to do is obviously remove these people for possibly cheating when they're not 100% sure that they are. But this is something that's still being investigated. The raid activity summary issues, they're looking at this as well at the moment, but there's no solution right now with the summary. The moment when you go in the raid, the summary is just giving you all kinds of figures, but it's not accurate. And what they may do is remove the summary and bring it back once it has been fixed, and that way you're not misinformed when you see the summary at the end of the raid. Invisible walls, there's been a lot of investigation around this, and I'm not surprised. And apparently it comes from streaming from your hard drive, especially hard drive speed. And the invisible wall is essentially as a result of your hard drive. Now, the one question that I had in my mind when they were talking about this was, why does this appear to be a new issue? I don't remember this really being an issue on launch, and it's happening to people who have not changed rigs. You know, people who never had this issue before, using the same PC with the same hard drive, and now having these issues. Well, I don't see how it could be a hard drive issue then, unless that's just my initial thinking, but that's apparently what the issue is, and they're trying to find the best solution possible in the shortest amount of time. They went on to talk about shotguns in the Dark Zone. Changes are going to be coming with this in Episode 3 and Title Update 7, confirmed by Frederick over text on the stream, essentially. But we don't know what those changes are, but they are going to be coming. They went on to talk about enemies getting stuck in spawns. Again, they're working on a fix coming with Episode 3, and this should fix most cases. And then they went on to talk about Episode 3. So what they wanted to confirm firstly is that it's free, F-R-E-E, for everyone. I appreciate that I can't pronounce my THs very well, so sorry for the confusion, but it's free for everyone. Okay, they don't have a date for release just yet, and they did leave it there, and then Hamish went on to say, all I can say is February, which I'm glad he said, because if he had left it there and given us nothing, I would have been even more disappointed, to be completely honest. But what they've confirmed is that it is going to be February, which I'm a little bit surprised about, to be honest, because if you think about it, the game released in March of last year, 2019, so year 2 would start from March of this year, which means that we might we're only going to get episode 3 for maybe a month before I would expect year 2 stuff, essentially. And what they did confirm is actually the updates, the main RNG updates and all that stuff is going to come shortly after episode 3, so that might make sense. But yeah, February is going to be episode 3, just no date as of yet. They confirmed there's no PTS for episode 3 either, and they said, why is that? Well, episode 3 is mostly going to be a narrative edition. There's mainly just going to be story content, no big changes, all balancing is going to be coming to the game, so they didn't feel the need to have a PTS because of that. They confirmed 2 new main missions, 2 classified assignments for year 1 pass holders, 1 new specialization. They didn't say what that specialization was. This is something going to be discussed in a future state of the game. They said that a lot of people have basically guessed it, essentially. My thinking initially was that we're going to be getting some sort of flamethrower, but I don't know for sure. But again, they're going to be showing that in the coming weeks. They also talked about a new exotic coming, and I'm going to insert some footage here, guys, if my computer will allow me to. I may actually just insert some screenshots instead, because unfortunately I can't take the footage because of reasons, essentially, but I might insert some clips for you guys so you can see, essentially. But what they've said is this is called Chameleon. Now, this is not the official name, but if you have a look at it, it looks like a Vector SMG variant. And what's cool about this, I've got to admit, this is pretty cool. The color of the skin on the weapon changes based on what you're stood on, which is probably why it got its name Chameleon. But this is the new SMG, and again, they're going to be talking about this in future state of the game as well. As I said before, year 1 passes are going to get the 2 classified assignments. You also get an instant unlock of specialization as well. They confirmed episode 3 is going to be on Coney Island. They did insert the trailer for that. I'd highly recommend you go check it out if you've not already seen it. But they inserted the trailer, and they also then talked about cleaners, and they didn't say that much, but they indicated that they might be coming back, possibly. We know the trailer included cleaners in there. People were talking about, how it got pretty much one shot, and wish there was like that in the game. But the trailer includes cleaners, and they kind of had that little twinkle in their eye to suggest that they are going to be coming. They kept saying, "Oh, don't want to say too much," but I think cleaners are going to be coming in episode 3, which, again, I'm happy with. Any variation on what we currently have, anything new, is a plus in my opinion. Even though cleaners are not necessarily new, cleaners were my favourite NPC from the Division 1, so to have them come back would be a good thing. Would I prefer something new? Probably, but I do love cleaners, so I'm pretty happy with their addition in the game, if they are coming back. We don't know for sure, but I think they are. Then they want to talk about the second raid. Now, this is something that people have been speculating about for a while. I've seen people tweeting about this, that the second raid is coming with episode 3. And I've always said that it's not going to come with episode 3. And the devs confirmed today that, yes, the second raid is not coming with episode 3. They're still working on it. They have play tested it. And they said it's going to be really cool, but it's not going to be coming with episode 3. This is likely going to be coming, I imagine now, with year 2. So yeah, just for any clarification, yeah, second raid not coming with episode 3. All right. They went on to confirm then, they basically included a infographic of the upcoming state of the game. So January 15th, we got item stats, RNG, and UI quality of life changes. January 22nd, we got recalibration, and then we've got skill power as well. And then January 29th, we've got episode 3 and specialization. Now, in this particular discussion, Hamish did say, and I want to pretty much quote this word for word, but he said recalibration, skill power changes. Oh, and actually, no, he said skill power refactorization is one of the words he went on to talk about. He also talked about stat storing. Okay, now this got my attention because I don't know if this is something they should be talking about. It's not something I've heard about, but they talked about stat soaring, if I can speak English. And this would suggest to me that one of the changes we've all been talking about is where you can destroy an item but keep the stat within the recalibration station, and that way we don't have to then hoard gear, but we could have those stats to use on gear that we want to recalibrate to. And to me, when he said stat storing, that to me is exactly that. Okay, but they didn't go on to talk even more about that. Again, they talked about skill power refactorization, and I looked up what refactorization means. Still don't really know what it means. If any of you guys might know what skill power refactorization might mean, please leave it down in the comments, because I just got no idea. But I think the stat storing for me is the thing that really stuck out, because if that's true, that's going to be a great addition to the game. And they also talked about Dark Zone quality of life changes. These are coming, and they're going to talk more about these in State of the Games coming up. And then they lastly talked about data for the first week of Hardcore. And they confirmed that in the first week of Hardcore, 17.7% of players died, which is actually quite high. And then 1.2% reached World Tier 5 in the first week. And then lastly, 6 completions of Dark Hours, which is just incredible. You know, well done to any guys who've done that. That's pretty cool. And apart from that, guys, that's pretty much it. So for me, at least, what I'm taking away from this is episode 3 is going to be like episode 1 and episode 2, which is exactly what I expected. We are going to get a lot more news in the coming weeks about year 2 changes, which is a positive. And stat storing appears to be something that's coming with Recal, which again is going to be great. That's the main stuff I got from this. I wanted more. I did want more, and I'm going to talk about this in a video on Friday, but I don't know what to say. Let's just leave it there. Anyway, thanks for you guys for watching the video. Thanks very much for all your support, and until the next one, Epic out.